All right, so Brownie, didn't get the result today, but lots of good signs for the group heading into finals, particularly that third quarter.
Yeah, the third quarter was really good. We fixed a few things at half time that guys were going away from, and North Launceston like to get a lot of numbers out the back. They wrap the ball around really well and get it to the open side, and they move it quite quickly. So we tried to shut that down at the start of the game, but it just wasn't happening, and we did that a lot better in the third quarter, and that gave us scoring opportunities.
How did you see the game overall? I know obviously they got off to a fast start, you guys got right back, and in the end of the game they ran over the top. How did you see the game overall?
They played with the breeze really well in the first quarter, and we just weren't smart enough to switch on. We were standing way too far back when we were bringing the ball forward, and for a lot of the guys that have played a lot of footy at Lauderdale, when it's windy, you know that it's going to drop short, and they just didn't adjust quick enough. And next thing we knew, we were 5 goals or 6 goals down, and we were chasing for the rest of the day.
That third quarter, you mentioned you adjusted a few things heading into it. You must be really pleased that the chips looked to be down at one point there. The boys were able to get back up and really put the pressure back on North Launceston in that third term.
I didn't think we mentioned to the boys at half time, we actually thought we were playing some good footy. It was just some of the simpler things. We were giving them easy goals, and against North Launceston, you just can't afford to do that. So, we probably fixed some of the mistakes we were making and not allowing guys to get out the back of the stoppages and things like that. And if we were drifting forward and taking them away, and that eliminated their release. And I thought that we probably spent our petrol tickets getting back into the game in that third quarter. But even the start of the last quarter, I thought the first 5 or 10 minutes we were on top of them, and then we conceded a goal or two, and then we just dropped away. That was probably the concerning thing. We probably just dropped away a little bit too quickly. And look, there's a reason they're the best team in the comp, and they were brutal early when they had the chance to grab us, and they did. And I thought we fought back well though, but yeah, they're certainly definitely the team to beat.
Obviously not a good sign seeing Bryce on crutches at the end of the game. Can you give us an update on what his injury is?
We don't know whether he's re-injured the same bone that he did in the start of the year, or he's just sprained his ankle. He got pushed in the centre of the ground, and he said when he got pushed, he slipped. He said it didn't feel real good when he went down, so he'll have an X-ray on that, and fingers crossed it's not too bad.
It's not the result you wanted, but a good hard hit out on the eve of the finals. Is this the sort of game that you think you really need leading into finals football?
Oh, I think so. It's probably... You don't want to go into a final with an easy game, and you're certainly not going to get that against North Lonnie. There's still a lot of things that we need to fix. I think we'll play Clarence next week in the first final, and that certainly doesn't matter where we all finish or on the ladder during the season. Those games are always pretty tough. So there's certainly some good signs today that we'll take into the finals, but there's some little things we really need to fix. Otherwise, we'll be straight out if we're not careful.
And Thor came out firing that third quarter after a pretty quiet first half. Was that self-driven, or was that a message from the coaches?
Well, I think it was probably more so that we were getting the ball clear of the centre. We got smashed in the middle in the first quarter. I think the stoppages were 15-3 or something like that, and then we fought back, got even in the second, and then the third quarter we got on top. If you can control the middle, and both teams have got really good midfields, we give our forwards first use of the ball, and you get opportunities to score. So we started starving them with the footy. I thought in the third quarter their structure started to drop away. They had a lot of numbers behind the ball. They were pushing up real high, so when they were going forward, they actually had nothing to kick to with the breeze. So it played into our hands, but then they adjusted and got back on top in the last quarter.
Yeah, Nick Baker swung back in the back line in the second half. He was a pretty big move going back there from the forward line in the first half, him and Josh McGuinness.
Yeah, Joshy was probably our best player today, I thought, for 4 quarters. Bakes was pretty good in the middle, and he went back to play on Cox Goodyear. We thought he did a good job on him. I think sometimes blokes are a little bit fearful of playing on Cox Goodyear because he's so good and he's so strong, and Bakes went back on him and probably doesn't know who he is because he's only a kid and just doesn't really care. And I think he showed today why he'll probably get drafted, and I hope he does. He's certainly had a good championships, and he's been really good for us since he's been back.
Yeah, and just lastly, you guys now finished 5th. Going to have to do it the tough way to get to that grand final again. You're backing the team to be able to do that?
Well, I think we've certainly got the team that can still win it, and we were fingers crossed we didn't get any injuries, but obviously Bryce has gone down. But look, I think anyone in the top 5 can actually win it on the day. And that's probably the good thing about the competition, is that everyone's strong, everyone's got a good team, and you just got to be on your game. So next week if we go out there and we have a first quarter like we did today, well, Clarence will come out and blow us out of the water. So you have to be on your game. But coming from 5th, tough, but anything can happen. You stay healthy, and some other teams get injuries further up the finals, and anything can happen.
All right, so Adrian, chips look to be down early on in that final term. Boys able to get over the top and get a win. Just underlines the status of, I guess, how this team can respond when put under the pump.
Yeah, we had a bit of a challenge in that third quarter. Didn't go our way, and a few of our processes went against us, and we didn't follow our team structures and allowed them to get a bit of a run on. And players really, were quite down at three-quarter time. So Taylor challenged them. Our leader stood up when it mattered, so it was good to see that response at the end of the day and kick, I think it was 6 goals to maybe 1 in that last quarter once they hit the front. So we didn't sort of change anything structurally too much, just our leaders around the footy. Taylor was fantastic today in terms of leading that. Jack Event coming on there in the last quarter, while she just really stood up when it counted.
Again, a really even spread of contributors across the field, not only with hitting the scoreboard, but just in general play. You must be really pleased with, I guess, the depth you've got moving into the business end of the year.
Yeah, it was hard to the best players today in some ways, because you're right, it was pretty even. Like we thought, Taylor was pretty good around the ground. Our back six at times were under the pump, but managed to do what they needed to do. We changed a couple of things around structurally, which we've been trying over the last month or two anyway, just structurally, just trying to change it up so make our players more flexible. In the end, we did that around the last quarter. Jack went on ball while she went back on ball. We changed Piercy rucked and Alan Bart forward, just something a little bit different, and just got a bit more momentum back, and the players responded when they needed to.
Late outs with Ryan Mansell and Tom Donnelly, was that more of a tactical thing or just some injury concerns leading into finals?
Yeah, look, just a bit injury concern. So Ryan rolled his ankle last week and just didn't respond like we expected. We thought he'd be okay, but it was just more precautionary at the end of the day with his ankle. Tom Donnelly just got a bit of an inflamed Achilles, so it was again no risk being a soft ground. We sort of saw it with both those boys, and it was pretty soft. So we thought, we've got the week off next week. Let's get them right for that first final. So it was more precautionary than anything serious. It's just one of those things that we balanced once we got the conditions and where it sort of sat. So it was one soldier down, another one comes in kind of concept.
Obviously, really fast start from the boys. I think 7 goals to none in that opening term. I know there was a bit of a breeze there, but how important, I guess, was that start in terms of the lead up to the game, really ramming that forward that you needed a good start against Lauderdale?
Yeah, look, our mindset and our starts have been relatively good for a while now, and we've got a pretty fined-out process at the moment in terms of our warm-up and how we go about it, and it seems to work for us at the moment. So they're an experienced group. They understood this was going to be a challenge today coming down here. They're a good footy team, Lauderdale, and they're going to go pretty well in the final. So for us, it was about making sure that our processes were right from the start. We managed to get that right start. Yeah, there was a bit of a breeze. Probably really let ourselves down in that third quarter. Momentum's a funny thing in footy, and teams have, North Harbour did it against us last time, that sort of stuff. Lonnie did it against us. They just kicked 2 or 3 goals in a row and lost that momentum. We weren't able to get it back. So for us going forward, that's our working progress.
Coxie back into the team today. How did he pull up? He obviously hit the scoreboard and played pretty well.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good week and a half on the track training-wise, so he's probably done more running than most of the boys. It was good to get him through a game. In that last quarter, it was more just, he's had the 3 quarters that we sort of expected him to play, and we pulled him off halfway through that third quarter and last quarter, just to make sure that he was right.